can't impact people you can't talk to. You can't impact anyone that you can't communicate with. You can't impact someone that doesn't even know you have something to say. So they understand that that is a critical part of community impact. So there are contracts and grants literally set aside just on the premise of engage this community, create a pathway where I can communicate with them. Either you're creating this pathway online or you're creating this pathway in person. And one of the ways that I love to do this is through events. And a lot of people don't even realize that events are a great channel for engagement, and the government will pay, and the funding agencies will pay to sponsor your event if it creates an engagement pathway for what they want to communicate and provide. To the Contracts Collab podcast, I'm your host, Dr. Coach Ogo Okweme, and thank you so much for joining us in this thought-provoking podcast, where we're going to break down the strategies that you can use to maximize your influence, your impact, and your income over the next 12 months. We are breaking down the strategies, the exact strategies that large corporations have used for years to impact their communities and build their revenue streams to the $1 billion mark. We're going to show you exactly how you can leverage contracts and grants from the government and other funding agencies to blow your business up, blow your impact up, not to mention maximize your income and revenue sources, and actually start to build something we like to call the infinite profit and wealth plan. So stay tuned, grab your notes, grab your pen, because you're going to want to write this down. Welcome. So, welcome. We are going to talk about part four. I'm getting my notes to remember what we're talking about today. So part 4, we are talking about engagements, community engagement and event contracts and grants. Oh, super excited. All right, so you guys know that I am using this series to really enlighten you on the types of opportunities that are coming in the next year. 2025 is going to be an amazing year for those of you that are prepared. There's a lot shifting in the landscape, both locally, nationally, and globally. And you're going to have to position yourself to take advantage of all of what is coming. If you guys are seeing certain things, certain rumblings, and people are talking about, oh, this is going to happen, it's going to be catastrophic, you as a community impact driven business owner need to be saying, okay, how am I going to cater to the ripple effect of that? Where's the contract or grant that's going to cater to the ripple effect of that? Where is the service grant or contract that's going to cater to the issues that are going to surround that when it happens? It's all about preparation. And those of you that are prepared for these transitions, these monumental transitions in life and in business, you all are going to be the ones that stand out on top. If you think about the companies that have really boomed over the past decade, especially coming out of the technology era, when we had like the .com boom, where a lot of people were like, get online, the internet, this thing. I know what it feels like not to have internet. I'm dating myself, but I remember a time we didn't have internet. And when we did get internet, it was that dial-up tone that you waited 30 minutes before that thing loaded up. And it's like, you go and cook and you come back. Like, I remember that time. I remember when having a .com website was the it thing and people were jumping on that. I remember that. I remember when YouTube was a baby and nobody was on YouTube. And funny enough, I regret not getting on YouTube and taking it seriously that time, because I literally was just watching people up and coming. And now, looking back, I'm like, whoa, had I taken it seriously in that time, where would I be right now? Had I taken Facebook seriously in that time, where would I be right now? The same thing will be said about right now in this era for contracts and grants. Had people taken it seriously when it was easier to get in and it was easier for you to access these opportunities and to be strategic, where will you be in 5 years? So today, we're going to talk about community engagement and events, contracts, and grants. And on the surface, it's very simple. Like, I think this is probably going to be our shortest episode. It's very simple. You are using these contracts and grants to engage the community in a way where the government can now have access to them. Because remember, these agencies, funders, government agencies, they're in their office, not to make them sound like they're not doing anything. They're doing a lot of work, but they are in their office and they are not in the community. So they need your help to galvanize and to pull community members together so they have a place where they can disseminate information, they can engage the community, they can look like they are engaged or involved. I'm looking for a better term. That they have access, they have reach, etc. You know? And especially, now I'm not even talking in general, especially for communities that are harder to reach. So what does that mean? What does it mean to be a community that is harder to reach? It means that you are in a place where physically it's harder to get to you. So rural communities where the next grocery store is 30 minutes away. Rural communities. Minority communities where you coming into those communities, you may have a hard time communicating because you don't look like the dominant population in that area. You don't speak their language. You don't speak their lingo. You don't understand their cultural norms and signals. So you may have a hard time saying the right thing or communicating what you need to communicate. And the government understands that. Funding agencies understand that. You can't just say that, hey, I'm going to go to the Asian American population. I'm going to find a city or a town that has 80% Asian Americans, and I'm going to now start talking about A. And you didn't even realize in their culture, that's taboo. That's taboo to talk about. You don't talk about that here. You don't publicly announce that. They're going to look at you like, did you get the memo about what it takes to talk to us? Well, they're probably not going to say that. They're probably going to say you sound stupid, and then they're going to go about their way. But essentially, the government understands that not everything I want to say is not going to be received the same way, depending on the population I'm talking to. So in order to engage them appropriately, I'm going to have to hire or contract or give grants to organizations that are closer to these populations so that I can communicate with them, so I can get the right information to them, so I can tell them about these policy decisions, tell them about what it is that we're doing, etc. So that's the purpose of community engagement contracts and grants. The other time you will see a surge in community engagement contracts and grants is when something really, really crazy has happened, like COVID-19. You saw millions get spent on Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, radio ads, TV ads. They spent millions, I want to probably say billions, on advertising. You probably in your mind, you're like, what does advertising have to do with community impact? It has everything to do with community impact, because you can't impact people you can't talk to. You can't impact anyone that you can't communicate with. You can't impact someone that doesn't even know you have something to say. So they understand that that is a critical part of community impact. So there are contracts and grants literally set aside just on the premise of engage this community, create a pathway where I can communicate with them. Either you're creating this pathway online or you're creating this pathway in person. And one of the ways that I love to do this is through events. And a lot of people don't even realize that events are a great channel for engagement, and the government will pay, and the funding agencies will pay to sponsor your event if it creates an engagement pathway for what they want to communicate and provide to the public, okay? A lot of you guys see these events. I'm going to give you different examples, and you wouldn't even realize a government contract paid for that or a government grant paid for that. Health fairs. Yeah. I know some of you like, wait, what? That health fair I just drove past? Yes. That health fair, a contractor grant paid for that, because they literally use health fairs as a way of engaging massive amounts of people and providing critical education and dissemination. So it may not even just be about teaching you about your health. It may just be the fact that now I have 1,000 people in front of me, and now I, as a government leader, can now be seen by these people, because otherwise they would never ever come to an event that I host. A lot of you don't even come to a lot of the government events. You don't even know when they're being hosted. Tell me, do you know where the next event in your local city is going to be held? Which politician is holding it? Which government agency is holding it? You probably struggling. Don't put the phone down. I know you're trying to Google it. No, don't. It's okay. We understand that, because it's not something you think about every day. It's not something most people think about every day. Most people think about living. Let's get through life. Let's pay these bills. Let me take care of my children. So when you get a contract to host an event The government is looking at you and saying, okay, how do you plan to get massive amounts of people together so that I can engage them, that I can meet with them, I can shake their hands, and we can keep continuous contact? That's the purpose of those types of contracts. Health fairs are great ways to do that. I know, I am so sorry to interrupt this episode that is so amazing, but I needed to tell you about our upcoming conference on April 3rd to 5th, 2025, and it's called the Contracts Collaboration Conference. Yes, I know, the Contracts Collaboration Conference, and it's taking place at Gaylord National Resort in National Harbor, Maryland, and this is where we are bringing together over 1,000, y'all, listen to that, 1,000 business owners, corporate leaders, nonprofit leaders, political leaders, university leaders, and we're all coming together to address these community challenges, and we're collaborating on millions in contracts and grant opportunities. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity where you walk into the room with an idea and a vision. You walk out of that room with your partners and the blueprint for your next application that you're going to submit right after the conference. I tell everybody, I'm not the type of person where you come to conferences and we talk. We don't talk at our conferences, we get work done. Not only will you learn the strategies, not only will you get insights, we have one of our key speakers has been able to secure over $6 million in 30 days. Could your business use $6 million in the next 30 days? She's done it, and she's dropping the details on how she did it and how you can replicate the same. And the key to your success in 2025 is going to be collaborations. And where else to find the best collaborators but at this conference? So you want to be there. So you want to go to theccconference.com. Again, theccconference.com. Grab your ticket. We have 3 ticket tiers. You can come to day 1, you can come to day 2, you could do the 2-day package, or you could be VIP. You'll want to be VIP because VIP sells out fast. But you need to be there. I don't care what ticket you grab. You need to be there because this conference is going to make the difference in your business in 2025. And by this time next year, you're going to be in a significantly different place and you're going to thank me for it. So let me see you there. Can't wait to see you there, and I'll see you there. Do you know what another great way to do that is? Concerts. Yes, concerts. If you have ever seen a concert where there's a theme, it could be a mental health awareness concert. It could be racial justice concert. It could be social justice. It could be environmental justice. It could be improving the health and wellness of Black men. It could be improving child poverty. Like it could, if you notice that there is a theme behind that concert, there more likely is a contract or grant behind that concert as well. And you can host concerts for anything. Last year, and I thought it was very, very interesting. Last year, the state of California actually gave out a couple $1 million. I forgot which city or what town, but it was in California. That I do remember. It was in California, and they gave out millions of dollars for organizations that were going to host concerts to engage inner city youth around mental health and mental awareness and just their mental status. And they said there were 3 categories of things that you could do. You could either host an event, you could host a workshop, or you could host a training program. So the fact that they allowed you to host an event, that means that you could host a concert. And they even had concert listed as some of the options because they understand that that's what youth like. Youth like concerts. So concerts can be funded by government contracts and grants, but it's all about how you portray and how you showcase to the government that this is how I'm going to use this vehicle to talk to my target audience or talk to our target population that I want to talk to. Sorry, I'm looking over here because I want to make sure my audio is still working. Y'all, podcasting, side note, podcasting has really told me about myself. 1, I don't actually like to be on camera all the time, but I do it because I got a lot to say. And 2, I should really need a team to do this for me because this technical stuff, all of this gear, it's a lot. I got to learn the information to teach you guys. Then I got to learn how to work the tech. It's a lot, but I do it because who else is going to tell you about this? Who else out here is telling you how to win a contractor grant to host your next concert? Nobody. So I'm going to tell you. But yeah, no, seriously, they can fund concerts. They can fund workshops. They can fund summits. They can fund conferences. As long as when you submit that application that you have conveyed why this is the most appropriate way to create this engagement point with this target population. And they like to hear or see you use words like, this community is harder to reach. These are the things that appeal to this audience. These are the things that they love to attend and freely will attend. And that way it's not a hurdle to get them there. This is where you are already capturing a captive audience, where now integrating an engagement process becomes easy. I'm just throwing these terms out there so you guys can use it, take it, steal it, do whatever you want with it, because this is how I want you guys to convey why you need $100,000 for your next concert, why you need $100,000 for your next summit, why you need $100,000 for your next event, okay? And it's not just here locally, globally. The other day, I sent a link to 2 of my friends. And I told them, hey, you're doing work in Africa and you're focused on improving child nutrition, improving access to food and education for children. They're giving out millions of dollars in Africa to improve child education, child health, child nutrition. Y'all need to go apply for this. It's not just a local thing. It's not just a national thing. It is a global thing. These opportunities exist. And you guys know I'm going to always keep reiterating, when you see a community-facing contractor grant that will allow you to serve the community, it does 2 things for you. It brings revenue in, 1, but then it also creates an engine where you now have people in the community who know you, who are aware of you, who trust you, and you now have a funnel of new people that you can continue to sell products and services to. So where you were struggling in the beginning to get access to qualified leads and people that want to use your services and your products, now the government just did that for you, but you have to do it strategically. You have to be tactful, and you need to understand that before you ever write that application. Keep that in mind. Now, the other thing about community engagement and event-based contracts or grants is the government loves to see that there is a strategy around continuous engagement. What do I love funding more than an event? Funding an event that's going to be annual, quarterly, biannual. It is a continuous engagement process so that I know this is not a one and done. The government does not like one and done. They love to see you think through sustainability, continuous engagement. So if you show them that this is an event that we're going to host quarterly, annually, and keep this community engaged, then you are telling them, hey, that I am creating this engagement vehicle that will continue to exist so that you can continue to come back and give them new information year over year over year over year. That they love to see. So don't just plan your events as a one and done. Think about, how am I going to keep doing this year over year? And you guys know, do you know you can layer contracts and grants for your events? It doesn't just have to be one agency that funds it. You could have one government agency funds, like let me throw out a good example for you. You host a conference. One portion of the conference is centered around child health or child nutrition. And you have the Department of Health in your local area fund that portion. Then another part of the conference is centered around immigration and immigrants and engaging the immigrant population. You've got another agency funding that, or another organization funding that. Then you could also have this workshop on this disease that applies to this community that you just brought together. And you could have another corporation who's really, really focused on the disease fund that workshop within your conference. So you've got 3 different organizations funding this one conference, because you're layering it strategically based on the topics that you know they are most concerned about and what they want to engage the public on. until you stack it and you layer it. So when I host events and I'm setting the topics or the agenda for my events, I'm thinking through what is it these agencies want to see. So for those of you that love events, that love workshops, that love summits, that love to engage the public, you love hosting health fairs. For those of you that are engaged with your churches, don't just host a health fair for the sake of hosting a health fair. Get it funded, because these are engagement points that the government loves. So think about that as we move into the next year. This is going to be one of the greatest ways that you guys can access, I don't want to say easy, nothing's easy, but greatest ways where you can access financing and revenue for your projects and your programs. And because we are being strategic and focusing on community impact, you know it's also going to create leverage for you so that you can continue to build more products and services on the back end, continue to make more sales, continue to bring in more revenue, and we can continue to build this infinite profit path, because this is how we're going to build large, sustainable organizations over the next 12 months. It was lovely talking to you guys. I will see you in the next episode. Wasn't that an amazing episode? Oh my goodness. So many strategies, so many details, so many nuggets. I am so glad that we're able to give these informations to you every single week. But more important than the information we give you on this podcast, we have even more available to you at our next upcoming conference on April 3rd to 5th, 2025 at the Gaylord National Resort in National Harbor, Maryland. This is our annual Contracts Collaboration Conference, and we've been doing this for over 3 years now. That's amazing. And you're going to be able to be in the room with over 1,000 business owners, political leaders, corporate leaders, business leaders, university leaders, all looking to collaborate with you on over 250 million in contracts and grant collaboration opportunities. Yes, I am not joking. Over 250 million in contracts and grant collaboration opportunities. We are making that available to you in the room. So you are leaving with your opportunity, your partners, and the blueprint for your application, so you can go ahead and submit that right after you leave. What other conference can do that for you? But if you want even more details and you want to start preparing for how to get in this room and how to secure your collaborators and how to lead with your best foot forward, then you need to join us at our next pre-conference demo day. Click the link below, sign up and get registered for our pre-conference demo day, or you can go to careerhaven.com and get registered for our pre-conference demo day. We go even deeper, and then we give you insights on how to position yourself to be successful at this next upcoming conference. We can't wait to see you there, and more importantly, I can't wait to see you make the money and revenue you deserve and the impact you've envisioned in 2025.